Hi, everyone. This is Joe Beatar, host of the Hunting Matters podcast, brought to you by Houston Safari Club Foundation. Thank you guys once again for joining us this week. And our guest this week is Wayne Arrington. Wayne is the owner of and founder of, is it Arride Bikes or Arride Bikes?
It's Arride Bikes. It's actually the first four digits of my last name.
Got it. All right. Just want to make sure that's right. And Wayne, we appreciate you joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Getting out in
Glad
this
to be
great
here.
Houston summer thunderstorm weather, which
It's pouring out there.
well, we need it, but at the same time, every time it rains, I think about my friends who have ranches, and I always hope that they're getting it too.
There you go. Absolutely.
So I appreciate you getting out. Let's talk a little bit about yourself. You and I we kind of met on email, really. And I'm an e-bike guy. I love to hunt. I love to be outdoors on an e-bike. I picked one up few years back. I think probably before they started gaining popularity among hunters. The funny thing is that the first time I showed up in camp with it, everybody's in their mule and they got all their vehicles, these $25,000 vehicles that I can't afford to buy. And they all kind of were giving me, they nicknamed me Biker Joe.
Okay.
But they quickly found that it was a great way to get around. I would ride by deer and exotics and things like that on our hunting lease, and they would just look at me and go, okay, and look back down.
Yeah.
And I could throw the thing behind a deer blind. I could throw it down in the woods somewhere. I could go walk around, and I just love it. I love it, being out on it and hunting on it. But let's talk a little bit about your background. You've been involved in your career across multiple industries.
Absolutely.
You've done a lot of things in your life over the last several decades. Tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey and kind of what inspired you to start building businesses.
Oh, excellent question. So what made me start building businesses? Actually, I wanted a Harley, and I couldn't afford one. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'll create this little business on the side. And I was remanufacturing laser cartridges. I had my son and one of his buddies working there doing the cartridges and stuff. I was actually selling copy machines at the time. And so we were getting the cartridges from the copiers that we were producing and stuff and remanufacturing, sell them all over the United States.
Yeah.
So anyway, that led me to get my Harley, and it's like, okay, this is awesome. But anyway, I sold that a few years later. From there, I went into, I have a martial arts background. I've got a second-degree black belt in Taekwondo. And we were training one night and holding boards for the young 15, 16-year-olds. They kept smashing my fingers and kicking me in the chest. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be something out there to hold these boards to keep from getting kicked in the head.
Right.
So I started looking and I didn't find anything. And I'm like, well, I'm going to develop something. So I developed a product called the Board Breaker. Sold it all over the United States. The issue I had at that time, Amazon wasn't around.
Yeah.
So there was no cheap, easy way to transport the product. I mean, this product was huge.
Yeah.
And it was the shipping cost that kind of killed that idea. But yeah, after that, it's just like every 10 years I need to do something different. I get bored with something. It's like, okay, let's start something new.
Yeah.
So been in the copier business, the martial arts business, the remanufacturing business. My daughter and I started a rental business, doing Airbnbs and stuff like that. I've been in the home care business for 10 years. And so, yeah, a number of different things. And then the bike business, which has been the most fun.
Yeah.
I mean, just absolutely amazing.
Were there any common principles that you carried with you? Because you've been involved in a lot of different business sectors. Are there for people who are, entrepreneurs or have that entrepreneurial spirit and just hadn't got out of the chair yet to do it, is there any advice you can give them, or are there any specific principles that you carried with you as you looked at new business opportunities?
Absolutely. So a good friend of mine and my mentor, Bill, he's since passed away, but he was an entrepreneur as well. He owned a window cleaning business, multimillionaire. And we used to ride bikes together all the time. And I asked him one day, I said, Bill, how do you do it? He said, oh, there's nothing to it. He says, your problem is you think too much about it. I said, well, what do you mean, Bill? He says, you ever seen the Nike commercial? I said, yeah. What does it say? Just do it. And he says, that you got to quit thinking about it and quit all this planning. Just go out and do it. It'll all fall into place. And so when I started doing that, it did.
Yeah.
Now, I will say not all of my businesses have been successful.
Sure.
But it's, you just pick it up and move on and try something new.
Capital Farm Credit understands that there's something about the outdoors that pulls you in. Could be the fresh air, the colors, the smells, the animals, the freedom. It's all just a part of who you are. And with our recreational land loans, you can purchase land for whatever outdoor pursuit you please. That way, the outdoors won't just be in your soul. It'll also be in your name. To learn more, visit CapitalFarmCredit.com. Together, we're better.
Hunting Matters is presented by Copandero Indoor Archery Pistol and Rifle Range, your premier indoor archery pistol and rifle shooting destination. Located in Oak Ridge North, right next to the Woodlands, Copandero offers two 25-yard pistol ranges, a 100-yard rifle range, and a 25-yard archery range. Whether you're honing your skills or just starting, Copandero has everything you need, including rentals, classes, a retail store, an in-house cafe, and a VIP lounge. Join Copandero today for an unmatched shooting experience. To learn more, go to copandero.com. That kind of takes me off on a little tangent here, but I know the show's called Hunting Matters. We talk about the outdoors primarily, but I also like to talk about different phases and aspects of business, especially with entrepreneurs such as yourself. Until I had one, I can't stress how impactful and important it is for people to have a mentor. And I got to be honest with you, one of my favorite professional mentors, wasn't a big fan of his when I first met him. A guy I met when you and I are similar in that we've been involved in a lot of different industries. I was in nursing, I was a nurse, I was in the medical device industry, manufacturing industry for a long time, and I met this guy through the medical device manufacturing world. And he was one of those guys come up and tell you how it is. I mean, right to your face, tell you what you're doing right, tell you what you're doing wrong. And after I kind of got past my own ego, I heavily relied on this guy over the years to go, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, or I'm looking at this opportunity. And that's always, I've heard that story been, repeated many times where people are like, yeah, I got a professional mentor. Didn't really care for him at first, or her at first, but as we got along and started developing a relationship, I knew that person could always be honest with me, and it's good to have those people in your life and go, that's just no. People who have experience that you respect, of course, everybody can say no, you can't do this,
I've heard that a number of times.
Yeah, and when I first started to try writing books, I had people kind of looked at me funny, like, you're a writer? I'm like, not yet, but we'll see. We'll see. It does my heart good to hear you talk about the fact that you had a mentor, that was just kind of helping you, guide you along the way in that direction. Do you serve as mentors for others as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So right now, matter of fact, Tomball ISD, they approached me here a couple of months ago, and it's like, we want you to sponsor a high school kid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I thought about it a minute, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do that. We can definitely find some work for a high school kid. But that was my whole thing. It's like, well, what do you hope to teach this young man or young woman? And it's like entrepreneurship. I said, we're in the process of opening up a second shop right now. I think it'd be a perfect opportunity for a young man to come in and I know you're not going to learn it in 2 months,
right,
but kind of introduce him to business and how we go about it and our thought processes and things like that. So I had a young man that started with me yesterday, matter of fact.
Oh, wow.
It'll be with me for the next couple of months. I see it turning into, when he goes back to school in the fall, working after school and that kind of stuff as well. So I've got a couple of years with him.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's amazing when you run across a young person and the opportunities sometimes present themselves. I had a friend of mine who's a ranch manager, and we host youth hunts. It's ironic that that you brought Tomball up, because Houston Safari Club Foundation just started working with Tomball ISD, bringing some of their students into our youth outdoor education program and our youth hunting program. which is done, we do it out of the office. We do youth experiences. We'll go to Katy Prairie Conservancy. We'll do youth hunts. We'll do other things. And so we just got connected with them. But I remember a ranch manager, a friend of mine, told me we had this kid on a youth hunt, and he didn't hardly say 2 words. These kids come from varying types of backgrounds, good, bad, and sometimes really bad. Mm-hmm. But it provides them an opportunity to get out of their current existence and do things they thought they could never do. And this kid didn't say much the whole weekend. I'm like, I hope he's having a good time, or, I don't want to pry. It's none of my business asking personal questions. But mm-hmm. He was sitting out on the front patio of the lodge one day, and the ranch manager walked out there and talked to him and said, you having a good time this weekend? He goes, yeah. And he said, the kid goes, kind of looked around, was quiet, and the ranch manager just was sat there and was just quiet, just looking around, watching birds and stuff. And the kid looked over and says, you do this for a living? And he said, yeah, I do. And he said, can you tell me about that? And kind of explained how he got into it and stuff. And this kid, by the time he left that weekend, he was a different person.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
He was like, I might want to do this for a living. He was a city kid, but he said, I just that having the opportunity to sit down and talk to somebody for 10 minutes mm-hmm. Changed his perspective and his outlook on his future. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really important in whatever area of business that we're involved with, that we kind of, you're in martial arts. I took martial arts for a few years with my kids, Taekwondo as well, Tang Sudo, a different form for version. But, they always teach you, and I do firearms training, so they always teach about situational awareness. And I think that's even important with the people you're around, just in conversations.
Oh, absolutely.
Somebody needs something. They always need something, and to be able to do what you're doing with a student, and you could be impacting him to change his entire future.
Oh, absolutely.
Just with the fact that he's observing a business getting going, and the day-to-day and things like that. Because I don't know about you, but in high school we had guidance counselors and stuff. But
I wasn't a good kid in high school.
Well, I stayed out of trouble and kept my grades up, because that's the only way my mother would let me play football. She said, right. If you're not making A's and B's, you're not on the football team anymore. But so that was my motivation. But we didn't have a lot of people to go. You could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, you could go into ag, you could go into wildlife biology, and so that's an incredible thing that you're doing. That you've taken one person and just opened up potentially a future for them. That's got to be very rewarding for you.
Absolutely. Well, not only him. I mentioned that we're opening up a new shop here, hopefully mid-July. And so I'm looking for employees that I can mentor. And I've got another young man that works for me right now as a mechanic, and I can see him taking over a shop in the future. So that's kind of rewarding, working with him as well, and it's something he'd really like to do. Mm-hmm. Working with younger people and say, okay, here's what we're doing, here's where we want to go. Do you want part of it? If you want part of it, here's what you got to do.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Awesome. I personally, from my own personal experience, I equate e-bikes, electric bikes to, or pedal assist or whatever, depending on who you're talking to, describe them. Do you have a background in the outdoors? Did you spend time in the outdoors growing up? Or?
I did. So I was real big into hunting. I'm from Louisiana. We talked about earlier, from Alexandria. So I spent a lot of time out in the woods, squirrel hunting, deer hunting. Every chance. My father passed away when I was young. Yeah. But my stepfather, we butted heads, didn't really get along. But I told him in later years, it's like, hey, I really appreciate, what you did for me.
Yeah.
Because if it hadn't been for him, I wouldn't have been able to continue my hunting and fishing and that sort of stuff.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Are you looking for an investment that goes beyond the ordinary? Wildlife Partners is the nation's leader in breeding and consulting for the exotic wildlife industry. When you invest in wildlife, you're not just acquiring a 100% tax-deductible asset, you're playing a vital role in the conservation of endangered species. Do you own land? You can turn your ranch into a profitable wildlife-driven business. And even if you don't own land, that's no problem. Wildlife Partners offers unique opportunities for non-landowners to invest in conservation while enjoying significant tax benefits and potential cash flow.
Hunting Matters is presented by DEA Ranch. Are you looking for the ultimate South Texas hunting experience? Then look no further than DEA Ranch. DEA Ranch offers some of the best whitetail and exotic game hunts in South Texas year-round. Whether you're looking to fill your freezer or put that next hunting memory on the wall, their professional guides are focused on ensuring each client has a memorable and exciting hunting experience. DEA Ranch offers guided hunts, professional staff, chef-prepared meals, trophy preparation, and more. To learn more, go to dearanch.com. That's dearanch.com.
Yeah, I have to credit my mom for that. She didn't remarry till I was in my teens, but I can still, and I may have told the story before in the podcast, but she said there was something in you. I don't know what it was. We'd be driving down the road and you'd look out and you go, yeah, that looks like a good place to go hunting or fishing. And she said, I never knew how you knew that or how you even thought that because you never had that experience. And my first hunting trip experience was, I think she talked to, we had, back then the neighborhoods where nobody locked their doors, everybody knew everybody. And we knew this, she was friends with a couple that lived down the street, and she had asked this lady's husband, she said, Joe's just driving me crazy. And my mom actually taught me how to shoot a gun, taught me how to shoot a BB gun, and would take me fishing and things like that. But as far as hunting, she didn't have a lot of experience with that. My first hunting trip was I was wearing blue jeans, a flannel coat, a cap, and some white shrimping boots, walking through the woods trying to shoot squirrels.
Right.
So that was quite a sight, but that got me hooked forever.
You don't run into a lot of squirrel hunters over in Texas now.
No, squirrel and rabbit was it for me, man.
Yeah.
She when I got to be of age, they dropped me off in the morning at sun up and picked me up at sundown.
Yeah.
And I would pack a lunch and I'd be gone all day long in the woods. I'd just be gone all day long. I'd come back with a backpack full of squirrels or rabbits or maybe ducks occasionally and
Make some good gumbo.
oh my gosh.
Mom make gumbo for
My
you?
mom would make gumbo. My mom would make fried rabbit with biscuits and gravy
yeah.
and rice and gravy. And that was the big thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I digress. But so what led you? You've been down all these different paths. What led you to the electric bike business?
So that's an interesting story. So I had just sold my home care business.
Okay.
My wife and I are on the Tennessee River to boat show. We were planning on buying a motor yacht and sailing the Great Loop, which is another story. But we decided not to do that anyway. We ended up getting an RV instead. But I'm at this boat show, and I see this electric bike, and I'm standing there looking at it, and I'm like, well, this thing's really cool. And the owner walked up about that time. He says, have you ever been on an e-bike? I said, man, I haven't been on a bicycle in 30 years. He said, would you like to try it? I'm like, sure. Well, being in Tennessee and the hills and everything, I got on this e-bike, and I'm up this hill with very little effort whatsoever. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I feel like a kid again.
Yeah.
And so I told my wife, I said, I got to have one of these. She said, yeah, whatever. And so I went home and I started doing all this research and everything. And the more research I did, I said, this is going to be a thing. And I told her, I said, I think I'm going to start a bike business. She said, you're going to do what? She said, I want nothing to do with it. I retired from Texas A&M. I retired from the home care business. It's all you. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. But yeah, it was that experience on the Tennessee River. And it's just, it blew me away.
Yeah.
And it's like, we got to do this.
Yeah.
So,
When I first got my e-bike, I was at home in front of the house and looking around hoping nobody was looking because I hadn't been on a bike in 30-something years either. And I'm like, do I even, the old saying, well, if you once you've ridden a bike, you know how to ride a bike. But,
exactly.
But still, I mean, getting on one and not how to work the controls and not understanding the capabilities of of an e-bike, I felt like I was, 6 years old again, kind of going, I hope I don't fall off this thing and make a fool out of myself in front of everybody.
Right.
But you pick them up. They're really not as complicated as you think they are. You pick them up pretty easily. The controls and things are pretty minimal. Of course, obviously you had a love for motorcycles, so I can see you migrating towards
Absolutely.
that.
I spend more time on the e-bikes now than I do my motorcycles. So.
Well, they can be dangerous depending on where you are and what you're doing, and
Right.
you know.
You don't want to ride it down I-10 or anything, no.
No, and the first time I took mine out hunting, I got out and I'm like, should I take it out? I'm going to take it out tomorrow morning. Because I'm like, I got it, I don't want to use it. So I took it out in pitch black, had a headlamp on, had a light on front of the bike, of course, too, and it starts raining, and I'm like, oh no. And you can't really see the ground you're riding across. Of course, you're on roads, but there's rocks, and it's different on an e-bike on uneven terrain, and especially if you're on hilly terrain, in the pitch dark, in the rain. So I was a trial by fire user the first time that I used it, but I thoroughly enjoy it. Tell us a little bit about, I call it the outdoor mobility market. Tell us a little bit about the typical customer you see. Is it hunters? Is it people that just want to get around? Is it people who want to get around the cities? What does your primary customer base look like?
It's pretty widespread. I get a lot of people that are RVing. They'll throw an e-bike on the back of their RV and take it with them. That's probably one of my biggest markets is those people. Hunters, of course, being able to get into the woods, and you talked a little bit about that before. I mean, you pass right by the wildlife, and they just kind of look at you and continue what they're doing. So you're able to get back in the woods without leaving a scent trail and that sort of thing. You can hook a wagon up to the back of it or a cart and pull your game out with it. So I say we service a very, very wide variety. We also do e-motos. That's real big for the kids these days. There's a lot of controversy around the e-motos right now from a safety perspective and stuff. So
I'm going to stop you right there. What is an e-moto?
So it's an e-bike without pedals.
Oh, okay.
It's a motorcycle.
Okay.
It's an electric motorcycle.
Electric motorcycle. Got it.
Yeah. So, and we've started doing some educational programs to kind of help with that. Matter of fact, I did a educational course for Tomball ISD. It's like I see that we need to educate not only the kids but the parents, because the parents are buying these kids these e-motos and have no idea what they're getting into.
Yeah.
But there's just so many different things you can use it for. One of the brands we carry is Rambo. Rambo makes a trailer that you can pull your kayak on. So you're going duck hunting or fishing along the coast. You can throw your kayak on the back and pull it to wherever you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use a trailer on mine, and that's another thing people made fun of me for was like, well, if you shoot something, how are you going to get in? I said, I got a trailer.
Right.
Stick the trailer up to it, and off I go. And they're like, oh, okay. I can see how it works. Because at first it was kind of one of those things. So you're going to shoot. If you shoot something, you're going to ride your e-bike back in, get your truck, and take it back out. I'm like, nah, I'm taking my trailer,
Right.
my little e-bike trailer that I've got. So anyway, I equate e-bikes almost a little bit to Jeeps. I used to be a Jeep owner for years and years and years. And the thing that I love about Jeep is you can put toys and things on them. You can lift them up. You can put different accessories, things like that, and that's the same thing about e-bikes. There's all kind of stuff. You can put a rifle holder on them. You can put a card on them. What other things can you do to an e-bike as far as customizations?
Oh, there's a ton of stuff. Of course, you can carry your bow on one. You can put fishing rod holders on them. Of course, everybody has to have a phone holder these days. So phone holders, horns, mirrors, locks.
Yep.
I guess some of the unique stuff would be the trailers to pull your game out with. The fishing rack's kind of cool. It sits in the back, and your rods, kind of stick up in the air and stuff. So they're kind of cool. But everybody that buys an e-bike has to have a phone holder. That's probably the biggest thing when it comes to accessories.
I have to say I don't have one.
No, we can fix you up with that.
No, I don't want one. I look at my phone enough. I'm not embarrassed to say this. I did it on purpose. When I got mine actually had a bell.
Okay.
In the packaging with it, and I put it on there, just to ride around the deer camp and ring the bell. I just did it, and somebody did ask me, so where's your basket with a flower on it? I'm like, I'm not going that far, but I'm keeping the bell. I'm proud of the bell.
I always tell everybody that comes to the shop, I said, there's 3 things that you really need as far as accessories when you buy an e-bike. The first one is a helmet.
Yep.
The second one is mirrors, so you can see who's coming up behind you, and the third one is a bell, so that when you're passing somebody on the sidewalk, let them know you're coming by.
Yeah. I don't need the mirrors or the bell for that because I don't ride mine typically on the street. I'll ride around the neighborhood some. And it's funny because I'll always get looks like, man, that guy's going fast on that bike. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm just pushing the button,
Right.
When you're deep in the field, far from roads, hospitals, or immediate help, preparation matters. Global Rescue provides medical and security advisory and evacuation services to hunters worldwide. From field rescue at the point of injury or illness to medical evacuation and real-time support, Global Rescue teams are ready 24/7, 365. with operations centers staffed by experienced professionals ready to respond. Whether close to home or far from it, having the right support matters. Plan your next hunt with confidence. Learn more at globalrescue.com/huntingmatters.
In the heart of nature, give your deer the nutrition they deserve with Record Rack Deer Feeds. The premium feeds support antler growth and overall herd health. Whether you're a wildlife enthusiast or a dedicated hunter, Record Rack Deer Feeds provide essential nutrients for a thriving herd. Choose Record Rack Deer Feeds for optimal deer nutrition. Visit recordrack.com to learn more.
But I have had some people stop me and say, hey, tell me about those.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get a lot of people that come in that are, because, I mean, e-bikes have been around for quite a while now, but it's still a new, I think it's still a new market. I still talk to people every day are like, what is that? What do you use it for?
Absolutely.
Yeah, do you get a lot of people that come in the shops that are, just curious and
Oh, absolutely.
looking
So we're 2 doors down from the movie theater. And yeah, I get a lot of people just come in.
they're in
just looking.
Tomball.
Mhm.
I got to come by then because
Yeah.
I love that
We're in the
area.
Four Corners Shopping Center there
Okay,
in
yeah.
Tomball. So yeah, a lot of people going to the movies or waiting for the movie to start, so they'll come in and look around and ask questions, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are people intimidated by e-bikes, you think?
Some people are. If they hadn't been on a bike in a while, and they didn't ride bikes very much back then
Sure.
either. So yeah, they're a little intimidated at times. So, depending on the e-bike, I mean, some of these e-bikes have so much torque and so much power, they really catch you off guard when you hit the throttle, and it's like we're going.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised at the rate of speed that I could get on mine. Are you finding more and more? I know you said you have a lot of people that have RVers that it's easy to throw those things into an RV or on the back of an RV
Mm-hmm.
and take off. Tomball is still what I consider to be kind of a rural town. Still has that small town feel to it. Hopefully it stays that way for a while.
Right.
Do you have a lot of hunters coming in and asking specifically about them?
We don't. We've been advertising on the Doug Pike Show for probably 6-8 months, and we have a few, but not. To be honest with you, Tomball is not a bike community.
Right.
Matter of fact, people told me, said, you can't sell e-bikes in Tomball. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So no, we haven't, but I've got an opportunity where we're opening up in the Woodlands. I don't know if you're familiar with Outlaw Archery.
Mm-hmm.
So we're opening up inside their building.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I live not too far from there.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be an opportunity. Matter of fact, they're saying come, the 1st of October, things get really crazy in there. And we're actually taking over one of the archery ranges in there. We'll have like 1,800 square feet.
Okay.
The owner, Will, he's excited about it. I think he's more excited about us moving in than I am excited about moving into the building, because we'll be bring people in that will want to do archery, or they've got a fishing shop upstairs, do some fishing and stuff like that. So I see a real opportunity to engage more hunters, when we get to that location.
Yeah, October people start breaking their bows out and sighting them in and that sort of thing for November. Bow season opens in Texas in late September, early October.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny how people are like, oh, well, I better start shooting my bow.
Right.
I always tell people, I said, if you have the means, you ought to set up a target and shoot your bow every day. If you just fling a few arrows. I got a friend of mine who actually walks out the front door, and I think he shoots 10 arrows every morning, and then he gets in his vehicle and goes to work.
Okay. Awesome. So one of the lines we brought on is Rambo, and it's designed for outdoor hunting, and that was the reason we brought it on. And we've sold a few of them, but we just haven't hit the right market there.
Yeah.
And I think the Woodlands is going to be a better market for that.
I think, yes, especially being there at the archery shop will definitely be and the Woodlands is a little more conducive to city riding as well.
Exactly.
As well.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. When you do talk to hunters, do they come in and say, hey, do you have any camouflage bikes? Do you ever sell non-camouflage bikes to hunters? Or
We do.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of bikes made by Troxus. One of them is, I forget the exact color, it's a moss color, I think they call it,
Right.
which is great for outdoors and that kind of stuff. And we've got another one that's a desert tan
Okay.
that the hunters like as well. So there's a couple of different colors. And then Rambo makes a couple of green bikes, not only camo, but the green. You pay a little bit more for the camo than you do the solid color bikes, but yeah.
That's universal. It doesn't matter if it's caps, clothing, whatever.
Right.
If it's got a camo pattern on it, you're going to pay a little bit more for it.
Exactly.
Same thing with firearms. It's just, they go those off colors, you're going to pay for it.
Right.
There's a reason why Mossy Oak and Realtree stay in business.
Right.
They sell the licensing to those, and hunters and people in the outdoor want them. How are, we talked about how e-bikes are used in the city. What are some of the other uses of e-bikes? Do you talk to landowners or ranch managers or people like that are using them as well in
Absolutely.
rural settings, and how are they using them?
I had somebody come in the shop yesterday, and they didn't have an e-bike, but they were looking for one because he has a ranch, and he's like, that would be good for me to get out there, and check the fence line.
Yeah.
Hop on the e-bike and go out and do that. I had someone come in the shop the other day that they bought a trike from us, and it was for the warehouse. I forget the name of the company, but it was some huge warehouse that they need to get from one end to the other, and the fire marshal says, you can't drive your trucks in here anymore. So they ended up buying a trike to be able to get across their warehouse and pick up parts and that kind of stuff in them. So there's a lot of different capabilities there from the ranching standpoint, running fence. I'm not so sure about feeding cattle. You'd have to have quite a bit of space to put your feed and that kind of stuff on, but definitely to check your ranch and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They're great for off-road. There's not too many places. You get some with the high torque, and there's not very many places they won't go.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the first time, we've got a place up on Toledo Bend, and the first time I took my e-bike up there, I had one of my more powerful e-bikes. I'm in the back, and I'm looking up this hill like this, and I'm like, yeah, I can do that. The bike could do it. I couldn't do it.
Sure.
It left me at the bottom.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's amazing the power that some of these things have. So.
Yeah. I was shocked the first time I went up a pretty steep hill about the power that it had.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't that comfortable when I did it the first time, but after I learned the different settings and things like that, it took me right up this hill up in the hill country of Texas, and it was pretty impressive. And I'm in my 60s now, so every little bit helps. I appreciate it. The other thing I was thinking about is a lot of people could use these just to ride around the property and check their trail cameras.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without leaving a lot of noise, a lot of scent, disturbing wildlife.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice to be able to get around to trail cameras fairly easy, fairly quickly, fairly quietly, where you're not running animals off.
Mm-hmm.
They'll trot away. If you happen to see deer,
Oh, yeah.
they'll trot away. But it's not like they're at a full charge to leave that vicinity when they see you come up on a bicycle versus a truck or a mule.
I was out again up at Toledo, and I ran across a hog and his baby out there. I don't know who was more scared, me or the hog.
Yeah.
Because it was from here to the door. It's like, whoa, this thing had to weigh 250 pounds too.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, who's going which way? So yeah, you literally ride right up on them, and they don't even know you're there.
Yeah.
So.
Are you looking for a smarter way to manage your document imaging and print environment? Dex Imaging delivers industry-leading printers, copiers, and fully managed print services designed to cut cost, boost productivity, and simplify your workflow. Whether you're a small business or a Fortune 500 company, Dex provides personalized local service with the power of a national network so you get fast, reliable support wherever you are. Dex gives back, proudly supporting organizations like Houston Safari Club Foundation by giving through profit sharing. Dex Imaging, smarter technology, exceptional service, proven results. Visit deximaging.com or email Adam Montgomery at adam.montgomery@deximaging.com.
Gunworks just launched a new rifle system. It's called Index. It's sized for adventure and engineered for extremes. With barrel lengths as short as 16 inches and a folding stock that collapses to an ultra-short profile, the Gunworks Index fits nicely in a UTV, a float plane, or across the seat of your truck without sacrificing accuracy. The Index features a built-in ARCA and pick rail for use on tripod or bipod, and a night vision rail to ensure you're ready for any scenario. The Gunworks Index delivers magnum capability in the most compact chassis rifle system on the market. Visit gunworks.com to learn more.
I think that's probably one of the coolest things is that, especially during turkey hunting season, is getting around and not disturbing the birds at all. Of course, you try to be as quiet as you can early in the mornings with if you're working around roosts and things like that. But and the fact that you can just throw it in the bushes. I mean, it doesn't seem to be bothered by wildlife at all. I actually leaned them up against the back of a blind, and I've had pigs and deer and things walk out and just, I don't even know what that is. Never seen it before, and they're just
not worried about it.
Totally oblivious. And again, one of the main topics that hunters talk about with e-bikes is the ability to minimize scent and noise. And the fact that you're not disturbing the wildlife as much, and pushing them off. So that's one of the things. That's one of the reasons why people go, why did you get a new bike, or why should I get an e-bike? And I tell them that just for those simple principles alone, it's very very nice to have them.
Plus, you get a lot of exercise too.
You do.
So I get a lot of the traditional cyclists. They're like, "Oh, you're cheating. You've got an electric motor on it." I said, "Well, I challenge you, number one, to try one out."
Sure.
I said, what it's going to allow you to do as a traditional cyclist is to go farther and faster. And that's one of the beauties of it. If you get 20 miles from camp and you're tired of pedaling, you just hit the throttle and come home.
Right.
But you get as much exercise as you want. The key to the exercise part of it is you want a bike that has a torque sensor on it.
Yep.
Because it operates more like a traditional bicycle.
Right.
It's all about the more force you put into the pedal, the more the motor kicks in and helps you.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Yeah, that's something I didn't realize until I actually got one. That I really like about it is that it's reflexive and responsive to based on whatever help you need if you've got that type of setup. Let's talk about durability a little bit, because I was a skeptic.
Okay.
As far as e-bike and hunting and being in the outdoors. Talk a little bit about the durability of e-bikes in the outdoors.
Okay. Well, there's literally hundreds, if not thousands, of different manufacturers of e-bikes out there, and there's some that are very cheaply built. I see a lot of companies from China. They'll create a brand and bring over 1,000 bikes and sell them, and then go away, and people can't get them fixed and that sort of stuff. One of the things we do is we research the brands that we carry. We want to make sure that manufacturer can provide us parts and supplies for it. But from a reliability standpoint, we carry what I call an entry-level brand that the name brand components are not your top of the line.
Right.
And they offer a 1-year warranty on the product. On the other side of that coin, we carry a product from Traxxas. It has a 5-year warranty. And it's kind of unheard of in the industry. Well, if you look at the bike, the reason they're able to do that is because of the quality components they're putting in their bikes. They're putting in Bafang motors and Shimano shifters and Tektro hydraulic brakes, Samsung cell batteries. And I tell people, you look at these over here, I don't have a clue what they put in those bikes.
Right.
These people keep me in business from a service perspective. These people, when I sell the bike, I don't ever see it again.
Right.
So.
Do you guys do repairs and services?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. What, in your experience, I kind of learned by trial and error, but what in your experience are things that people, hunters, that hunt in dirty terrains, muddy terrains, and things like that, what should they be on the lookout for, and as far as maintaining these bikes? Because you're gonna be out at the blind, and a storm's gonna come up, and then you drive out on a dirt road going out, and then you're coming back on a mud road, picking up mud and rocks and everything else coming in. What are some of the things that hunters and outdoors people that use these bikes out on the trails, what should they be aware of as far as service and maintenance go? And let's say I'm coming in off a ride and I got mud all over my bike, what should I do to it?
So you definitely want to hose all the mud off of it, hose it down real good. And I say hose it down, you want to be careful of the components, as far as where the motor's located.
Right.
It could be in the front hub, the rear hub, or mid-drive motor. But you want to definitely get all the mud off of it. Most important thing is to lube it.
Okay.
Put some good 3-in-1 oil on it. We carry specific bike oil, but a good 3-in-1 oil will work on them. Every 100, I'd say 150 to 200 miles, you ought to be lubing that thing. But yeah, that's probably the most important thing is keeping it clean and keeping it lubed.
Are there anything? Any specifics that? I asked you that question because I learned the hard way because I didn't clean a bike properly when I came in the first time I did it, and I ended up going to a bike shop, and they're going. Guy just shook his head at me because I'd had it cleaned up, but he okay, I'm going to really clean this up and replace a couple things, and
Right.
And then he sold me this can of Miracle Juice lube that I put on there now that keeps it running. But as somebody who's thinking about buying an e-bike for hunting, how do you kind of guide them? Are there specific things they should be looking for in an e-bike as far as features, benefits, types, wheel size, tire size, that sort of thing?
So if you're looking for hunting, typically what I recommend is what they call a fat tire bike.
Okay.
The larger the diameter of the tire, the easier it is to roll over objects.
Got it.
So, we have a bike that's got 20-inch fat tires, but probably not that good when you start talking about serious off-roading with it. The other bike that we sell is most popular has a 26-inch wheel, about 4 inches wide. One of our Rambo models has a 26 by 4.8-inch tire on it. So those are the tires is probably one of the most important things from a traction standpoint. You want something that has hydraulic brakes as opposed to mechanical brakes. Mechanical brakes are your cheaper bikes that are out there in the market. The shifters, so you can get some bikes that are single speed, and personally I think they work a little bit better in that type of environment because if you have a multiple speed, and when I say multiple speed, with a shifter and derailleur on the back,
Right.
that derailleur can really get clogged up in the mud. You hit it on logs, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you have to do a little maintenance to it when you do that. Our upper end bike has a shifter or has a derailleur on it, and that's one of the things I don't like about it. But then that next model down, it's a single speed bike, meaning all of your power is really coming from the motor. And I think that works a little better in that environment. You want something with a long-range battery because, they quote anywhere from, I've got bikes that'll do 25 miles. We have bikes that'll do 110 miles.
Yeah.
And that's based on the lowest setting. When you get out in the mud and in the woods and climbing up hills, that 110-mile bike is not going to get 110 miles.
Right.
It may be cut in half based on the environment that you're in. So you want something with a long-range battery. When I said long-range battery, something 17 amps and above.
Okay.
Our most popular model has a 20-amp battery in it. You can get it with a 15 or a 20-amp. Or you can, the upper line model, you can get with a 30-amp battery in it. So that's very, very important as well. So.
How long does it take a battery like that to charge? Typically?
Depending on how much you've run it down, anywhere from 5 to 6 hours to fully charge.
So if I run it hard all day, I can come back to the camp, I can charge it in, the next morning get up, and I'm ready to go. Good.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's a regular 110 outlet too, so
Yeah.
no special outlets or anything like that.
That's good. Yeah. I'm one of those people who probably charge it just in case. I don't want to get
Right.
stuck out in the middle somewhere and not have it fully charged. You hear about batteries and things like that over, depending on the device, whether it's an iPhone or whatever. A lot of people say, "Oh, you need to run it all the way down." Is it the same thing with e-bikes? Do they typically guide you to run them down, or does it affect the battery life if you get halfway down and then charge it all the way back up?
So they typically look at charge cycles on
Okay.
e-bikes. One of our particular brands, they'll say, well, we guarantee it for 300 charges. And so you're typically not going to run it all the way down. That charge cycle, say if it's down halfway, it's okay to charge it just 50% up and that sort of thing. If you're going to store your e-bike for a while, you don't want to have it on full charge though. It's better to keep them, somewhere between 50 and 75% charge if you're not going to ride it for a while. It's just better for the life of the battery and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Say I'm a hunter and I use one just during hunting season. That's really bad. That's when I use it primarily. Do you typically, if you can, advise people to go ahead and just take their batteries off the bike as well?
Well, and it would be, if you're storing it in a garage, absolutely, because, temperature fluctuation is going to have an effect on battery. Our hot summers are not good for batteries. The cold winters aren't good for battery.
Right.
So, yeah, if it's going to be sitting up a while, I would, take it off and put it in a more controlled environment.
Okay,
So.
got it. That's something I'm guilty of. I probably need
We
to,
all are.
I probably need to stick them in my closet.
Right.
The batteries when I'm not using. This episode of the Hunting Matters podcast is brought to you by B&B Taxidermy. Since 1983, the Baird family at B&B Taxidermy have been the premier experts in trophy mounts. Whether it's African, North American, global, or exotic, B&B Taxidermy will provide design, artistry, and attention to detail that you won't find anywhere else. B&B Taxidermy can also design and decorate your trophy room, showcase, or office with custom dioramas built to suit your space. Check out their showroom of exotic trophies on Jones Road in Houston, or visit their website at bbtaxidermy.com. B&B Taxidermy, proud supporters of the Hunting Matters podcast and Houston Safari Club Foundation. This episode of Hunting Matters is brought to you by Republic Boot Company. At Republic Boot Company, we don't just make boots, we craft heirlooms. From premium custom and stock boots to handcrafted leather bags, belts, and accessories, everything we create reflects Texas heritage and timeless quality. Our Houston craftsmen use the finest leathers and time-honored techniques to deliver style built to last. Whether you're stepping into a new pair of boots or carrying a signature leather bag, experience craftsmanship the Republic way. Visit Republic Boot Company and discover quality made for everyday life. Learn more at republicbootcompany.com. For first-time e-bike users, we talked a little bit about you guys are starting to educate people on these things. Are there any tips or things that, learning things that you would advise people to do the first time they're starting to ride an e-bike? Because you see these you see introductory motorcycle training courses all over the place.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, again, it depends on the person. I mean, somebody like you and I, we know the laws of the road and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's really no different from riding a regular bicycle and riding an e-bike. It's just that first experience, that first surge will catch you off guard. But again, from a youth perspective, again, I'm seeing a lot of youths and they're creating a lot of problems out there because they don't know what the road laws are. So we've got an educational program that we can share with them. Say, if I get a family come in and they're buying a bike for their young son or daughter, I say, look, I recommend they go through this training because it teaches them how to take care of their bike. It teaches them road safety. Mm-hmm. It teaches them, how to properly maintain your batteries and that sort of stuff. So,
okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Technology is always rapidly changing on many, many fronts. Do you see any? How long have you been dealing with e-bikes now?
About a year and a half.
Okay. So do you see anything in the future that's going to change as far as e-bikes go and revolutionize the technology and that sort of thing? Do you see any changes coming about?
Oh, yeah, it's constantly. I mean, with any technology, you've got changes coming down. There's some new battery technology that's coming out that's supposed to be lighter,
Oh, good.
Be more durable, last longer, and that sort of thing. I've read some things about some automatic transmissions that they're putting in e-bikes.
Really?
Yeah. So that's some of the newer technology. Probably the battery, and they're starting to put a lot of apps to control it, to track it, tie into GPS, that sort of thing as well. So yeah, it's they'll definitely be changing over the next few years.
Yeah, that makes sense. The GPS aspect definitely makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about e-bikes, we touched on it briefly earlier. One of the things that I see is that having an e-bike and having the ability to get around, if you don't have an ATV or UTV or something like that, kind of, I think, I look at it from the standpoint that it actually extends the life of older hunters and their ability to enjoy the outdoors.
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, and I think that's one of the reasons I'm seeing more and more, especially the RVers and stuff that are coming in. They haven't been on bikes in years and years. And when we talk about exercise, I said you're getting exercise just by getting them off the couch.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to get out there and pedal a bike.
Right.
But if they can get out there, and do a little pedaling and, they get tired, hit the throttle and go back home again, I mean, that's a win-win.
Yeah.
So we are seeing more. And that was one of the reasons I got involved with it. I'm 70 myself. So it just blew me away when I first got on a bike. And so it's like, this is fun.
Yeah.
I wouldn't dream of getting on a regular bicycle today, but this is fun.
Right.
So, and I think that's the way older people are looking at it. It's like they want to get out there and they want to continue to experience the outdoors and stuff. I'm a little concerned with some of the legislation that's going on around the country right now, though. New Jersey just really cracked down on e-bikes dramatically. You've got to have a license now. You've got to have insurance on them, and they've just gone way overboard.
Really?
With some of the regulations.
Just another way to make money.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons I've started getting involved in the educational standpoint. Let's educate the young people, because the young people are actually the ones creating the problems for us. And it's the e-motos that everybody are complaining about. And it's like, but they call the e-motos e-bikes. So it's the e-bike that's getting the bad publicity when it's
Right.
not the e-bike causing the problem.
Right.
Because they're already regulated.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know when they first started coming out, there was a lot of talks and discussions with fish and game agencies, with U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and that sort of thing. What are we going to allow? What are we going to not allow as far as access with these bikes? It's not like you're not leaving the footprint of an ATV or UTV on a federal land or on a wildlife preserve. I mean, it's electric. It's not making noise. It's not disturbing anything. It's two tires. It's bicycle tires. And you very seldom can even see where somebody's been on an e-bike.
Right.
They don't. It's not like they have that momentum where they can crank them up and peel out on them like on a motorcycle or something else, where they can cause any damage. So I'm just hoping that people will be more and more open to allowing full use and access across, any terrain, and also not tax them to death, which is just.
And it really depends on, I think they're legal in the state of Texas. The regulation for the state of Texas is Class 3 e-bike per se is 20 miles an hour throttle only, 28 miles an hour pedal assist, and maximum motor capacity of 750 watts. And that's true across the state, but you go into the state parks, and every state park's a little bit different. The national forest, who's managing that national forest, it's a little bit different.
Sure.
So you do have to check with, the local authorities, say, okay, can I ride this in there?
Right.
But going back to, as we age, it allows us to stay active.
Right.
And I think that's what a lot of the legislative people don't understand. And we got to make sure we educate them as well in the process.
I never even thought about that. About that. That's a big part of what you do and what you have to do is a sell of these products. You spent a lot of years involved in community organizations. You're a member of the Houston Safari Club. You've done youth leadership, Boy Scouts. How important is it to you to introduce younger generations to responsible outdoor recreation and activities?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, there's a lot of inner city kids that if we weren't out there supporting them and sponsoring them, they would never have that opportunity. And they don't know what they're missing.
Yeah.
And as you said earlier, you talked about a young man that that was sponsored by the Houston Safari Club that, he showed an interest, and he was an inner city kid. So it's extremely important that we work with different organizations to help.
Yeah, it's funny that you said you grew up in Alexandria and I grew up in Alexandria, and there's not too many people I've met in my life that actually grew up in Alexandria, Louisiana. But I finally remember my first foray into Boy Scouts. My mom had to have something for me to do to keep me out of trouble as a single mom during that time. And I can still remember laying in the Kisatchie National Forest outside of Alexandria, on my first Boy Scout camp out, and looking up at those big pine trees and going, yeah, this is it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do. What advice would you give someone who is trying to start a business, regardless of the field, having been through your journey as an entrepreneur?
Quit thinking about it. Just do
Just
it.
do it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yep.
That's good advice. That's excellent advice. Have there been any e-bike stories that have come back to you, relayed to you, that have been, kind of stood out to you over the, since you've started this the past year and a half?
Not that I can think of offhand. I mean, there was a dad that came in and bought an e-bike for his daughter that was special needs. And he was concerned whether she would embrace it or not.
Yeah.
She has embraced it so much that they were back in 6 months after she bought it, getting new tires for it. I mean, she is literally, it's opened up a whole new world for her because it allows her to have independence to get out and do things on her own. And it's been a great story from his standpoint and their family.
The Houston Safari Club Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that supports the future of hunting and conservation. Wildlife and habitat conservation, youth education and outdoor experiences, scholarships, and anti-poaching efforts are just a few of the programs supported by this organization. Monthly events, an annual convention, award-winning publications, networking opportunities, and valuable resources for hunting knowledge are just a few of the benefits of being a member of Houston Safari Club Foundation. If you're searching for a group of people dedicated to protecting the future of hunting, look no further. Join Houston Safari Club Foundation today at wehuntwegive.org or call 713-623-8844.
What would you say is, in retrospect, I know you've only been into this area, like you said, for about a year and a half, but what's been the most rewarding for you as far as Arride Bikes go and starting this business? What's been the most rewarding part of this for you?
Test rides. And I say that because if I can get somebody on a bike, they can't help but come back with a smile on their face.
Yeah.
So it's that, yeah.
Yeah.
Just making people happy. I say being in many different, the home care business was horrible. I say it was horrible. I mean, I enjoyed taking care of seniors and helping them
Sure.
in their time of needs, but that was a tough business.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody, I said, e-bike business, this is fun.
Yeah.
I make people smile every day.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, home health is tough. Yeah, I've been involved in that as well as my wife has as well. It's you're kind of catching people at their worst,
Right.
and then here you've got, like you said, I got to tell you, first time I got mine and rode around the neighborhood, I came home smiling. I got to tell my wife, like, you got to ride this thing. This is awesome.
Right?
Yeah, it's kind of I liken it to the fact that I was never really a big motorcycle rider,
Mm-hmm.
but and we rode and built bikes as kids. We modified bicycles and painted them ourselves and all that stuff growing up, just because we just wanted to and had something to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to tell you, for the first time, first time I rode an e-bike, it's the first time I felt like a kid again in a long time.
Oh, absolutely.
And they are absolutely a blast to ride, and
Mm-hmm. I think everybody should ride one. Should be a requirement. You got to get
just
on
try
one
it.
once.
Yeah, just try it. I mean, I throw my backpack on my back. I throw my rifle across, as a sling across my back, and I just go. And it's just so much. I find the outdoors so much more enjoyable because I'm riding. It's quiet. I can look. I can listen. I can observe more things. That's one of my favorite things about it is the fact that it's quiet, and I am really. I don't mean to sound cliche or corny, but I'm really at one with nature. I'm really, other than the wind blowing through my hair and past my face, that's really about it. I'm not having to yell at somebody over the noise of a mule or an ATV or something like that. And that's probably one of my favorite parts about it is that, and I can stop at any time, just get off and walk around and go back and get it, and it's not a big hassle. And that's my favorite part about it is just.
Speaking of the mule, I've got a new product that I'm introducing when we move into the woodlands. The reason we don't have it now is because I can't get it through my doors. But it's a four-wheeler
Okay.
that you stand up on. And each wheel has its own independent motor in it.
Wow.
And this thing, I mean, it'll do 32 miles an hour.
Wow.
It's got a 75-amp battery in it. Just awesome. I test drove one here a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, yeah, we got to have that in the new shop.
So it's like a scooter. It's got a platform. It's got a base on it. You stand on it, and
It's more like a golf cart.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't have all of the extra stuff on it like a golf. And then it has independent suspension and everything on it as well.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm real excited about that one too.
That's amazing. I'm going to have to come test drive one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Wayne, in closing, I want to thank you for your time, for being here. Where can people learn more about your company?
So you can visit us online at arridebikes.com, and that's ARRIDE, BIKES.com.
Okay.
You can drop by our store. We're located in Tomball. We're at 28485 Texas 249, which is in the Four Corners Shopping Center there in Tomball. So.
Awesome. Awesome. Folks, check out the website. And trust me, once you get on one of these things, you're definitely going to want to buy one. I never thought about, I heard about them. I never thought about, buying one. And then I rode one. I was like, uh-oh.
Yep.
Looks like I'm going to have to get one. So, Wayne, we appreciate your time.
Hey, I appreciate you having me.
And I'm going to have to come out and check out the shop next time I'm over.
Absolutely.
I'm over in Tomball.
Please do.
Thank you so much. Folks, that's it for this week's episode of Hunting Matters, brought to you by the Houston Safari Club Foundation. We thank you for your time. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. And we will see you next week on the next episode. Take care and have a great week. Hunting Matters is a Houston Safari Club Foundation production. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. For questions or more information, email us at info@wehuntwegive.org.